Lauren, how did you do the area?
Get the area, I multiplied 10 inches.
This is Mrs. Walhart's 6th grade math class at Longfellow Elementary School. Perhaps the scene that follows will be one that is familiar to you.
And did you label it? Inches squared. And Evelyn, how did you do the perimeter?
The perimeter
I saw.
is 34 centimeters because it's
Hello, I'm Chris Pizarnik, and I'm the principal at Longfellow Elementary School here in Iowa City, and I'm very glad that you could join us today. For many of us, when we think back on our own experiences in the classroom and how technology was used, we probably have similar memories to those that we saw in Mrs. Walhart's room with the overhead projector and transparencies. Well, today there are a lot of new and exciting ways that technology is being integrated into the classroom, and the students and staff here at Longfellow wanted to share some of those things with you today. So as you watch, we hope you enjoy, and again, thank you very much for joining us today. One simple piece of technology is the PowerPoint program on the computers that most teachers use to set up the agenda for the day. Students are able to refer to this to help them figure out what will be going on throughout the day. Another opportunity that students have across the district to use the PowerPoint program is to create their own reports. Here's an example of a student who worked with our media specialist, Mary McNeil, and his homeroom teacher, Mr. Mark Benton, to make a nice report on hurricanes that he could present to his peers later. Speaking of Mr. Benton, here he is working on his laptop, finding and creating some lessons for his interactive smartboard, which students use on a regular basis in his classroom.
The smartboard, it's one of those things where technology is coming, and I guess I just have a strong feeling that you should explore different ways of kind of getting kids' attention. I felt the smartboard is one way of doing that. It's got a brighter screen. My goal is to kind of move away from the overhead projector, scanning everything that's into the smartboard or into the computer so that way I can project it on the smartboard. It's got a brighter screen so it kind of captures their attention. You can write on it as well. You can save notes. You can see right here, kind of have an example of how you can write on it, and then so you can make your notes to the class or whatever. The other neat thing about this is people who have problems like holding on to items, they can just write with their hand as well, and it does the same thing. And then kind of the other neat feature is you can then change it to text. So those students who have problems grasping pencils or whatever, it's very simple for them to use as well. You can save items. It's just like a regular computer. Another nice feature about it is you can upload tests to it and use smart clickers. Yes.
mine's not working.
Despite the shaky camera work, you can see in this scene that Mr. Benton's social studies students are able to take their exam using the smartboard technology. Each student has a clicker which is able to send a signal to the computer as to what their answer is for the different components of the test, and Mr. Benton's able to walk through it step by step, ensuring that all students understand exactly what the questions are asking. It's a very nice tool that we're able to use in a setting such as this.
Feedback right away instead of waiting. Some teachers can take a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it takes to get those tests corrected. They get instant feedback right away. Saves the teacher time. And then sends everything right to an Excel spreadsheet, so that way the information is right there for you. Gradebook's done for you. So one quick, easy step. So,
How long does it take to scan or enter that kind of information, or how much preparation is involved?
It depends on what kind of computer you're using. I'm exploring that area right now. What you have to do is type up the test into a Word document, and then it's out of say it syncs or loads right into the Centio software. But I guess using Mac computer, you are able to use a PDF document, and so if you could just scan it, scan the test, and then save it as a PDF, I'm assuming that it would be able to sync right into the Centio software.
Okay.
So as I mentioned before, the nice thing about taking the test with the smartboard is it kind of turns the test taking into almost like a game. The students have a clicker, and they enter in their a number that they have that I've assigned them, and once everything's done, they finish their test right here. It gives them instant feedback right on the clicker, and then I can export everything into Excel. And the nice thing about sending it to Excel is you can come down here and it shows you the number of students, what the correct answer should be, and how many people got certain numbers correct or incorrect. So if I had time, I can go back and we can reteach those different problems.
While you may have noticed that the smartboard not only helped Mr. Benton easily correct his assessments, it also helps him keep track of data. Data is something that we find is very useful here at Longfellow, as we use it quite frequently to adjust our instruction and help ensure that we're meeting all students' individual needs. This is an example of a spreadsheet that we might use. You might notice that it has math scores, ITBS scores. We try to create this document so that we're able to add different columns as different assessments come up throughout the year. And it really helps us to keep track of students' progress and again ensure that we're doing the very best that we can. Returning to our smartboard technology, it's not only something that we use at the upper grades, it's also something that we're able to use at our primary grades as well. Our student teacher is able to share an example of a second grade lesson that she recently did with some of the students in her classroom.
And then it reads. So the kids were reading fluently while it was playing. A way to use technology for fluency. Today, what I was showing you, the second graders and I worked with rhyming words, and we had a unit on Dr. Seuss, and we used the smartboard to work on fluency for our unit. And the students were able to read fluently while we were working with the smartboard. They were able to manipulate the board, and then we were able to read it a few times together as a class, and they worked on their fluency, and then that helped them actually to read it for the kindergartners the next day.
Problems, and then we'll see.
In this scene, we'll transition from second graders to third graders. These students are in Mr. Gabaldon's math class and are working on some problems today.
You see that? Oh, look at it, it's blinking. That's what it does sometimes. It just stops. Give it 1 second, right? Oh, there we go.
As with all technologies, sometimes there are glitches. Fortunately, Mr. G's worked with this system enough that he's able to troubleshoot fairly quickly, and Rye is able to get back on track. Aside from being dustless, the smartboard also has other advantages. For example, this class is able to save these notes, and for students who might have been absent or sick that day, they're able to catch up with relative ease.
+1, Laura. So it works. All right.